Hi there, welcome back to Animation Teacher. This week we're going to be doing character animation using a Flash character build. Also, we're going to combine it with a prop build, which we built last week. I'm just going to open up the hot air balloon here, and I'll open up a character build which I made. This one is called Franco, based on my son. I'm going to copy him, copy frames from the timeline here, and I'm just going to paste it right here and rearrange this. I'm just going to resize Franco and reposition him. I'll put him next to the hot air balloon. Next, I'm going to make sure all my hot air balloon comp are in one symbol by selecting it all and hitting F8, convert to symbol, and I'll name this hot air balloon. Okay, we'll adjust the anchor points to the bottom. Okay, let's just clean up our layers here. We'll delete unnecessary layers, and we'll extend our exposure. Just scroll on the timeline, hit F5. Okay, next up, I'm going to key out the position of the hot air balloon. So, give you an idea of what will happen. It's going to have the hot air balloon exit off screen, and Franco's going to turn around and react. I'll extend his exposure a little bit, F5, and we'll set him to single frame. You'll see the first is set to 2. I'll set that back to 1 and make sure everything's set to single frame except for the head. I'll set that to play once. Inside his head, we're going to expose and make sure everything is set to single frame. We'll go back outside. Okay, so let's do the first key. I'm going to reposition the arms here. Okay, it's showing above the leg. I'll have to rearrange this on the timeline, like so. Now it's behind the legs. So when you're highlighting more than one symbol at a time, it'll give you a bounding box with the anchor point automatically set to the center. You can adjust it like so, or you can even change the pivot point of the group. So since we can't bend the knee, we have to actually draw an instance. So on keyframe 2, I'll create the second instance of a bent knee. I'll go up here and expose drawing 2, and I'll do the same for the other leg. Alright, expose drawing 2. Next up, I'm going to rotate his whole body. Once again, reposition the anchor point in the group of symbols. We're going to bring it down here. Move the anchor point. So, like I was saying, you highlight more than one symbol. It's going to give you an anchor point in the middle, and you slide the anchor point and rotate as needed. Okay, so on to the third key. Once again, highlight everything. I'm just going to reposition him back here, and I'm actually going to have him start to turn around. So our next drawing here will be yet a further bent leg. That's drawing instance 3, and we'll do another one for the other leg as well. And for the foot. Let's reposition the arms. So like classical animation, symbol animation requires a little bit of adjusting here and there. Onto our fourth pose. Now, I want to flip this symbol, so I'll actually go into transform, flip horizontal, and that's going to flip my symbol over. Once again, modify, transform, flip horizontal. So similar to classical animation, you're going to be flipping back and forth a lot in Flash. So I'm just going to change this angle of the head a bit. And as I'm flipping back and forth, I'm just checking the arcs on all the parts here. So as he's turning around, I'm just sliding the arms over here. Okay, let's do another key here. I'm going to convert this 3/4 front shoe into a 3/4 back shoe. And it's as easy as changing some lines using the free transform tool. Again, you can just slide and manipulate each one of these lines. And to create a new point, just hold down Alt while you're dragging. And there's our 3/4 back shoe. And actually, I'm going to steal the shoe, Control C, and I'll paste it in here on a new keyframe, Control V. I'll bring it down here, and we're just going to flip it over. We'll flip it in here, modify, transform, flip horizontal. Now, when you're moving a drawing, make sure your anchor point stays true. So they're both slightly bent knees. And we'll move Franco's torso over and change his arms. And if you can't reach the back arm, what you can do is go onto the timeline here. Now you can move it from behind his back there. So we're going to go inside here and create a 3/4 back angle of his head. I'll just delete these eyes, eyebrows, nose, and mouth. And all we have to do here is create a new instance for the hair, and we'll create a 3/4 back angle of this hair. So once again, I'm using the free transform tool. I'm just moving lines here and creating points by holding Alt and dragging. Alright, let's go outside and change the instance. Let's see what it looks like. Alright. I'm going to adjust the foot here and the legs as well. I'll create a new torso by copying the first onto the third frame by holding the Alt button and dragging and letting go. It'll copy it, and then I can just flip this. Let's go outside and expose that. Okay, so that's what it looks like so far. I'm going to have to adjust the angles a bit here. So once again, if you want to copy a key, you just grab the key, hold Alt and drag it across to a new keyframe, and then you can adjust the art. And we'll expose that. We'll do one more pose. And this will be the settle. So with overshoots and settles, what's happening is the last two keys, your overshoot and your settle, are the exact same poses. What you do is go to the second last key, your overshoot, and you overextend whatever opposite direction your antic was. And then it'll settle back, like that. Alright, now I have some issues right now with the head. I think we're going to need a profile. So let's go inside here. Let's get rid of the far eyes and move the close eyes over. We'll move the nose. Get rid of those ears. And we'll move the mouth over. The ears. I'm going to adjust the artwork of the head just a little bit. Let's redo the nose. Alright, we'll need a fill here. Let's go inside the nose. To create a fill, I just introduce a line and I'll fill it and delete the lines. And just extend the paint fill. Next, I'll just fix these ears a little bit. Expose that, trying to. So I'm going to lose the front part of the hair here. And with the sub-selection tool, I can actually nudge and move the points over, which is useful for this instance. Okay, so once again you can use the free transform tool or the sub-selection tool. It's not exactly perfect, but it's going to work because we're only going to see it for one frame. And the rotation seems to be working. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to work out the timing. So let's move this over. Okay, I'm going to show you a little trick here. This is called Edit in New Window. What Edit in New Window does is it allows you to see a symbol and see what's outside the symbol. So currently we're inside the symbol and you'll see it reflected in this timeline here. And you can adjust as needed. So we're inside. Now we're outside and you'll see it reflected in the timeline. So whatever window you click, it'll activate the timeline. This is useful so you can figure out which instance to use where on what key. So we're on frame 8 right now. Okay, we're on frame 9 and the instance is 2. So we have to sync this up somehow because it's not syncing up the head, I mean. So just right click and on the timeline you're going to use this thing called synchronize symbol and that'll sync up everything accordingly. We're on frame 15, 15 there, 15 down there. So everything syncs up properly. Okay, so let's start in-betweening. I'm going to key that, right click, classic tween, and I'll set an ease out. Alright, and then we'll set an ease out for this overshoot settle. Okay. Now as you can see, the legs pop on the tween. So all you have to do is put a key in the middle and find a happy medium between the two and manually adjust it. So here is the one key that I'm going to adjust, and then on the following key I have a different instance, and I'll try to find a balance point from the end to from the start and the end. Okay, so there's the transition. That's pretty good. And I'll do the same for the other leg. Okay, so there's the tween. I'm going to put a key in there, change the instance to the next key, and I'm going to adjust this so it can tween to the last. Make sure if you change the anchor point to double click it, otherwise your tween is going to blow up. So I'll move my anchor point, adjust, and double click to bring back the anchor point. Okay. Whenever you move an object while you're in the middle of a tween, you're going to automatically create a key. So just note that. Alright, so there's the turn. I want to change the timing of when the head changes from profile to 3/4 back. So let's just move this over to see what that looks like. Any changes you make inside the symbol comp, you'll see reflected outside. Okay, this is happening too slow. I'll take out one frame there. I'll take another frame there. Okay, so it's not syncing up. We'll right click, synchronize symbol to bring it back. So everything syncs up now. Alright, I think we have the profile in there for too long, so let's bring this back. Alright. Okay, so there's your turn. There's the mid stride, overshoot and settle. I'm still not happy with the timing here. Alright, so I'm going to change this once again. Just one more. Let's synchronize the head, synchronize symbol. Alright, I think this will work. I just have to change the angle of the head a little bit to create a little bit more drag. And I'm just going to show the 3/4 front face a little bit longer to create the drag. I'm just going to change the angle a little bit more and reposition the head. So once again, I'm just toggling the arrow front and arrow back key, or the comma and the period button, to flip between the drawings and see how my arcs go. Now the difference between a key and a breakdown basically is anytime your two keys have something in there that changes completely and it's not an exact in-between. In this instance, we're looking at the change of the legs and the change of the head. So it's not a direct in-between, so we'll need it as a breakdown. Alright, so I'm just going to skew this leg here to find a happy medium. And we'll reposition the body. It's pretty close. I'll have to adjust the arms a little. Once again, if you can't reach the back, just select the arm in the timeline. Alright, I'm going to show you how to offset something. Basically, on the timeline, I'm going to copy the back arm, slide it over while holding Alt, and then I'll duplicate the first key that I just dragged over. And we'll just add a little bit of an offset. We'll do the same for the front arm. Select it all, drag it across while holding Alt, go back to the first key, and we're going to adjust it. So all this does is it delays the overshoot for the arms, and it gives you a nice offset. We're gonna offset the head as well, actually. Let me just create a little bit more of a drag. Once again, select the head, hold Alt and slide it over. Go back to the first key and adjust the angle. Okay, we'll have to synchronize symbol, right click, synchronize symbol. And let's have a look. Alright, so he's stepping back to look. And let's animate this balloon exiting the screen. Let's get rid of some of these keys here. Okay, I'm just going to move these over, and we can get rid of this middle key here. And we'll create a classic tween. It's supposed to start slow and exit fast. Okay, I don't want it to move right away. I'll hold it for a bit and then move it off. Okay, synchronize symbol. Just right click and remove frames. Next up, I'm going to give an ease in because we want it to start slow and speed up. And I'll synchronize symbol here. Alright, let's have a look. I'm just going to clip this off. Right click, remove frames. Okay, so there it is. Now, if you ever want to adjust multiple keys on one layer, turn on edit multiple frames and you can change it there. As you can see, it grabs all of the keys, even the ones above and off screen. I'll reposition this balloon so it's a little bit further back. Okay, so he can look at it properly as it turns. So I want to add a shadow to this base of the hot air balloon here, since we're lacking a floor plane. I'll start off by creating a box with black and an alpha of about 30. Okay, and I'll make sure my line is no line, and I'll draw a box and create a shadow for the base here. Alright, I'm just going to turn off the balloon so we can see the other side. I'll adjust this accordingly. Just so we're not confused, I'm going to name this balloon shadow. Okay, there's no need to symbolize this because it's just the simple shape. So I'm just going to do a shape tween, and we'll add an ease in to match the balloon, and we'll make it disappear. So that's what it looks like there. Cool. So the last thing we're going to do is I'm just going to give Franco a shadow, but instead of a shape tween, I'm just going to create a symbol. Just a nice circular shadow here. And I'm going to hit F8 to convert it into a symbol. Alright, next thing is we're going to animate the shadow according to Franco's movement. So I'm just changing the shape according to his action here and moving it so it stays underneath his feet. Okay, we'll add an overshoot and settle, and we'll tween that. Classic tween, ease out, and the antic, classic tween, ease out. That's for the shadow as well. Alright, let's have a look. Ta-da! So that's how to animate with a character rig in Flash. Let's zoom in here and have a closer look. And there it is. I hope this lesson shows you that you can get away with a lot of nice stuff using simple animation, cross-mix it with some classical principles. That's it for now. Thanks again for watching Animation Teacher. See you next time. Ciao.